I ain't no altar boy. I ain't no yes man. No, no. You ain't no God of mine. No, I don't need your blessings to save me. When you thought that I was done, you ain't seen nothing yet. Walk that wire, start that fire, burn it down. Yeah, you ain't seen nothing yet. I go harder, let the sun fill me now. You ain't seen nothing yet. I got this storm in my head, a forest fire in my chest. Look at the time on the clock, man, I'm gonna sleep when I'm dead. Whether you're ready or not, I'm rolling in like a train off the tracks, coming at you. You ain't seen nothing yet. Walk that wire, start that fire, burn it down. Yeah. You ain't seen nothing yet. I go harder, let the sun fill me now. You ain't seen nothing yet. My heart, my soul, my fight, my appetite won't stop, won't quit. I come back every time. My heart, my soul, my fight, my appetite won't stop, won't quit. I come back every time. My heart, my soul, my fight, my appetite won't stop, won't quit. I come back every time. You ain't seen nothing yet. Walk that wire, start that fire, burn it down. Oh, yeah. You ain't seen nothing yet. I go harder, let the sun fill me now. You ain't seen nothing yet. You ain't seen nothing yet.
Happy Friday, September 9th. September 9th already. It's Chris and Mark with the NWA Exchange Podcast, the only podcast you need to know everything about Bella Vista and beyond. We hope you had a great week, short week. Let's go ahead and get into this stuff. What's going on, buddy? Happy Friday. Happy Friday.
Hey man, how's it going?
Man, I'm still like maybe about 2% just down in the dumps from Amped Electric games being over, man.
Yeah, that was a long weekend for you, no doubt, man. You know?
But, we, a lot of lessons learned, right? Obviously, you do an after action review, you figure out what worked, what didn't work, how can you improve and build. next year is going to be that much better. For us, doing a live broadcast out there, one, the live broadcast went well for Amped Electric Games, but trying to cut over to the NWA Exchange podcast, 30 minutes before we're supposed to start, because we just finished up with the Amped Electric Games and then trying to get stuff. So we did have a little bit of a late start last week. We did run into that mic issue, which I believe I've got addressed now and fixed. So, proof of concept, we can do a live remote location. There's just some things I had to work through, and obviously probably juggling a little too much on top of that weekend to really even have caught that. That being said, I still had a great time. I think Rob had a great time doing the interview on site with us. Viewers got
I enjoyed
to
it.
see
I thought it was great, Chris.
WTF
I think you did
Amber
a tremendous
Blades
job
rolling around and stuff. It was fun, man. It was a good weekend.
Yeah. Hey, I love having that Monday off of the holiday, man, but it's like you're chasing your tail for the rest of the week.
I know. This week flew by. The week was just gone. I mean, it was ridiculous. And, on top of that, there were some things happening in Bella Vista this week, obviously with the POA having their public input session for their 5-year plan. Didn't get to make it to that. I know you made it to there. I watched some of it on the YouTube.
Next 5 years and the breakdown of what they're looking to do, and I think we can get into that later, all the details and the cost that's involved with it. But I was disappointed at the turnout, Chris, to be quite honest with you. I mean, I would think there was probably 50 people there maybe, and of those 50 people, maybe, I don't know, in their late 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s.
Another younger base.
You know what I mean? It just it was kind of a bummer to see that. We've been talking about getting involved with the process.
Everybody's just so busy though, man. I mean, life is busy, man. I mean, like I know. You know how they have like a parent that's assigned to schoolrooms, like they help put together parties and coordinate with the other parents and get like the candy or the snacks or whatnot. I mean, like people are even like schools are having problems even filling those roles, and it's because more people are working, right? They have to make ends meet, and there's not enough really skin left on the bone to take on an additional role, right?
Yeah.
So
And luckily they streamed it. So I know you had stuff going on. You were able to catch it the stream, and so hopefully more people were able to do that. Because we have to keep people involved with the process, understand where this money is going to be spent. Because ultimately, it's our money, right?
I'm looking at the stream. There's only 151 views, so I mean,
that's on. Yeah, that was on the 5-year you're talking about.
Yep, a 5-year plan. So. I don't know, man. I don't know. I feel like people are just checked out, and these entities like the city and the POA, they want to, push forward, knowing that people are ignorant to what's happening, and people, when people find out what's going to happen, then they'll care.
That's too late, man. This is like we're dealing with the city, man. The same thing,
Right.
You can't turn around, man. They'll gut you like a fish.
They will. They will. They'll slip it in. So we had a really good interview with a short-term rental owner who owns 2 short-term rentals in Bella Vista and one in Bentonville. So he can actually provide some context. We'll be getting into that a little bit later. But I want to know a couple things. Tell me what's going on in Bella Vista. What have you procured for us this week?
So we got a few things going on in the next few weeks. Your Artist of the Month is taking place September 15th from 5 to 6:30 p.m. Location's Bella Vista Library. They're over on 11 Dickens Place in Bella Vista. So
is that like named after Charles Dickens, possibly? Do you think that's what they named it after?
I would think so. It seems like...
So?
Could possibly be that. Well, I'll have to ask Wendy that. That's a good question, So they're going to give an award out to the Go-Go Girls, which is apparently it's a quilting club or something like that.
Are they the ones that did the decoration on the quilt or the yarn? Did they do the yarn decoration on the police department's fence and stuff? Are they the
I'm
ones
I'm
that
not
did
sure
that?
about that. I know what you're talking about because you can see it from 71 there.
Yeah,
The one
yeah.
when you're driving. Yeah, I'm not sure. That's a good question.
Okay.
I'll have
Well,
to check
cool,
that out.
man.
But
Quilting, Go Girls Quilting Club. That's cool.
yeah,
That's everybody loves a quilt. I mean, dude, I ain't gonna lie, man. My grandmother, she made quilts for every one of us kids, man, for
yeah.
graduation
It's almost
presents.
like a
So.
lost art, right? I mean,
It
I remember
is,
my grandmother
man.
doing the
Some
same
of the
thing. Yeah,
nice heavy quilt too, man. It's
yeah.
perfect, man. They last forever.
We still have ours left over, and like, gosh, they've been since we were kids, man, and they're still around.
Yeah.
So. All right, Coffee with a Cop,
All right.
September 22nd. I'll be
Who's
there.
bringing
I'm
the?
gonna
You're
go
bringing
there
the
because
donuts, are you?
you asked me. I heard it was donuts. I hope
You'll
there's
be a
donuts.
star
And
of the
people are
party,
watching tonight,
man.
make sure you bring donuts. I like the glazed. I like the chocolate glazed.
I thought you was bringing the donuts, man. You were like, I heard
I
there's
like
some
the
cops
chocolate
here. I
cake
brought some
donuts.
donuts, man.
What's that?
I thought you were bringing them, man. You were like, I came for the coffee, but I brought some donuts, man.
Yeah, but then they'll think I'm making fun of them, man.
Dude, I know you love donuts, man. Bring some
know I
donut
do.
holes, man. Say, look, man, I don't want nobody getting fat, man. But I
Grab the
love.
whole dozen.
Yeah.
They open it up. There's just one left.
There's one left.
Oh man.
Oh, the famous donut jokes with the cops, man. I don't know.
Yeah.
I know they like
So-
coffee for sure. Every cop I've ever met loves coffee, man.
Yeah, for sure. So, Coffee with a Cop, bring police officers and the community members together and discuss issues, what's going on in the community. And we have a lot of issues going on, so be a lot of
There
discussion.
are some issues. They're not my issues, so I'm gonna save some tissues because I don't care no more, man. It's like I've called, I've emailed. It is.
Well,
what
maybe we
it
can
is
find
at
some
this
common
point.
ground. Pardon the pun, but
Yeah. A common ground. Oh, you went there, did you, with these common ground groups, man? Okay. That one just floated
All right.
off into the mystic, man. Like it really did.
yeah. So 9 a.m. Village Bible Church. Oh, they're on 1591 Forest Hills Boulevard. So
That's
hopefully people come out and see it. I
Yeah.
will make time. I'll put it in my calendar and I'll be there.
It's always good to get to talk to them and kind of get some of their perspective and stuff. I mean,
Sure,
community outreach is important for any organization, and I have to say, out of all the city departments and divisions, and I mean even the mayor's office, right? They're not really doing that much outreach when it comes to talking to people. City councilman that's putting together short-term rental. He, by his own words, I've talked to 2 short-term rental owners. I mean, it's called community outreach, man. Start getting out there and talking to people. So shout out to the Bella Vista Police Department. They do an awesome job, and support them. Get out there. They're part of our community. Talk with them.
Yeah.
Get to know them. Maybe they'll show up if you call, if you get to know them. I don't know. Maybe I need to go.
Well, I'll let you know how that goes, but I'll be there, Chris. Thursday, 9/22, 9 a.m. Village Bible Church, 1591 Forest Hill Boulevard. So,
Nice.
along with that, the City Council meeting. So, coming up, the end of September already.
Dude, is that already around-
9/26,
it's already around the corner,
Monday, 6 p.m.
Man.
So I bet we're going to probably get, I don't know how many reads this is. This is the one they're going to try to push through right here.
Well, they have the work session the week prior to that, so I guess we'll just have to cover the work session. I do have that new live streaming rig camera set up. That if we want to go and live stream the work session, we can put 3 camera system in, throw some mics down.
That might be a thought to do.
Maybe try to cover it.
I would think that they're going to iron it out the week before, and I would think they're going to try to push this baby through.
Well, the
they're
thing
gonna
to
be-
watch would be the work session packet, right? So that should drop the Friday before the work session. So
Okay.
possibly next Friday, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it would be next Friday, and then the work
Yeah.
session, and then
16th,
the following
yeah.
week. The following week would be the council meeting. So we should be able to read any proposed anything next Friday's podcast. So I'll keep an eye on that. I'll set up an alert to alert me if anything's uploaded to their agendas and meetings, and we'll see what happens.
Yeah, it's an excellent point, but I think that we're getting down to the point where they're going to try to make it and push this baby through. And
Well, it's a
there's going to
juggernaut,
be
man. It's a juggernaut. It's coming, man. Regardless, you can sit there and stand in the way and
you know what this is
vocal.
like? This is like tug of war, man. They're pulling that rope, dude. We're pulling back. You know what I mean? It's just back and forth, and it's just a battle, man.
Well,
It's
I mean,
just a
like
battle.
the thing that bothers me, I think the most is now the city's like spewing like, do you know what a septic system is? Propaganda on their Facebook, right? Like even their graphic shows an electronic pump, for their septic. I don't know of anybody with a septic system pump. Maybe possibly there's some out there in Bella Vista, but I mean, they act like they're experts on something now, I mean, and I'm sorry. I'm sorry, man. It's really out. It's not in there. Play in your own sandbox. The county, the health department, that's their sandbox. Quit trying to play in other people's sandbox. Stay in your lane. Fix the problems that are within your purview, right?
Yeah.
Accountability of divisions that are managed by the mayor. Follow up with residents on when the complaints are made. Ensure that things are happening in a timely manner when a complaint is made, and there's follow through. Be transparent with advertising and promotion, commission's budget, which nobody still to date has seen. That's the type of things that the city should really be focused on, especially whenever you have a mayor that's exiting. He should be making sure that his ducks are in a row so that the next mayor that comes in can pick up, know where they stand, what's the state of the city, and move forward on doing what he was elected to do. Period.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. I don't know how that works, the handing over the torch, Chris, but yeah, I mean, it should be done, whether it's done or not, or correctly done. We'll find out, I
With
guess.
Peter,
but
it just seems like he's going to just try to make everybody's life hell for the rest of the time he's here. And you know what? There's nothing you can do about it. So, whatevs, that being said, let's get off that little negative.
Yeah. No, but you made
connotation.
some valid points. Hey, I always like to deliver a budget buster, man, because things are getting tight out there.
Inflation
People are getting short on
busters.
cash. And I saw the weather next week. It's going to be in the 50s.
What?
A couple days. Yeah, I saw. I don't know. I
That's
saw
gonna
it.
be nice. That's gonna be nice, man. Bust out the hoodies.
Yeah. So, whatever happens or not, they say one thing and then the next day it's 85 or 90, right?
Dude,
So,
they said that the weather was going to be great for amped electric games, and then they had that massive rain out, man, on, was it Friday, I think it was? No, Thursday night,
Yeah.
into Friday, yeah. Yeah, it was sloshy out there. They got it cleaned
Yeah.
up, though.
yeah, and
Good
held
job,
up for you
weatherman.
guys. I mean, that Friday was a little sketchy, man, but it
They
cleared up.
moved a lot
so.
of stuff indoors. They just kind of shifted the schedule. The track ride up by the evening, and they were doing their qualification rounds and stuff. So it was. But I'm like, man, wait 5 minutes, man. That's the
weather
saying in
changes.
Arkansas,
True.
right? Wait 5 minutes, the weather will change, man.
Yeah, very true. Hey, Budget Busters, Box 10, again, from their ad just started on 9/7, ends to 9/13. They have whole chuck rolls, $3 a pound, man. I mean, you're getting that weather, you get that chuck rolls, throw in some potatoes, some
They got the
carrots, some
potatoes
onions,
too, man.
potatoes,
$2.78. And the green bell peppers.
Oh, yeah.
Dude.
Sirloin roast, $1.07 pound. I know you're not a 73% ground beef guy, but $1.86 a pound.
At this point,
chicken
man, I'm like,
drumsticks.
I'm not going to be picky, man. I'm starting to adopt the like if like I said that one week, it'll make a poop mentality, man. I mean, if ground beef, man, it might be a little greasy, but that's good chili meat. I'm sure just strain off the fat
fat.
before you throw it in, man.
Yeah, for sure. So get out there, check out
chicken's a good
Box
price
10 if
for
you
the
haven't been there.
drumsticks. 95 cents a pound.
Yeah. 103 North Dixieland in Rogers. So I know money's tight. Just make some meals, man. You can make
Yeah.
some chuck roast, chuck steaks, whatever you want.
Yeah.
There's plenty there to do a lot with. So my favorite coming up, I'll have to tell you, man. The Testicle Festival,
The
man.
Testicle Festival, right there, man. Right there. The Testicle Festival is coming up October 21st, 22nd, and 23rd.
October 21st to 23rd. Balls, bands, and beer, man. You can't get
Balls, bands, and what does it say? Ball? Does it really say balls?
It says
bands,
balls, bands, and beer, man.
14 bands.
Yeah,
The
man.
Ben Miller Band, Adam Johnston Band, Green Acres Band.
This is a big deal, man.
Dude, I ain't go. I'm not opposed to going and listening to some music, man, and riding around the fairgrounds on the one wheel. But I think no balls for me, bro.
There's a testicle eating contest too, man. Now I don't know if they deep fry
Dude,
those
you're just trying to
nuts.
bait me into saying something, aren't you, man?
I don't know if they deep fry those or you're eating them raw or whatever.
They call them Rocky Mountain oysters or something like
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
Deep fried balls, man.
You gotta give it.
Bull
Can you imagine
balls.
that? Oh man.
Ugh.
Can you imagine
I don't know,
that?
man. To
Yeah,
each their own, but
it must be one hell of a turnout, though, man.
dude,
There's got-
I don't
there's
even know
bands.
if we were straight up like, everything went to heck in a handbasket, man, and like, the power grid's down and we're in survival mode. I don't know if I would be like going for some bull balls, man. I just, whew, no.
That's a.
They have this. I think this. Somebody said that like they had a squirrel eating a squirrel contest, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Squirrel cook-off, and
Yeah.
like that one kind of caught some shade. So now they brought in the Testicle Festival, man.
Oh yeah, yeah. Well, I'm sure that would go over with the new demographic down there, man.
Yeah.
So-
Well, I mean, look, check out. I mean, the amount of bands, though, man. That's something
Crazy.
that I think is gonna put this over the mark,
Yeah.
right? Is combining it with all these bands, beer, balls, and bands.
Can't
I
get any
like
better
it.
than that, man.
Allman Brothers tribute band, man. That might not be.
That'll
too
probably be
bad.
pretty good.
Yeah. I maybe have to try to make it out there and check it out. Has it got the ticket
Three
prices and stuff?
days, man. Yeah, it's at the registration. Everything's there, man.
Wow. Campfire time. They're gonna have campfire.
Wet T-shirt contest.
What?
Look at that, man. This is a big event, man.
I'm gonna have to check that out. Ladies oil wrestling. Check that out.
Maybe we do a live feed from the Testicle Festival.
The Undy 500 racing tricycles in your underwear. What? Who in their right mind approved this? Like, is this a family-friendly event? Does it say it's a family-friendly event?
No, I don't think so, man.
Don't worry, your balls will remain intact. Whether you call them Rocky Mountain oysters, cowboy caviar, tender groin, or simply bull balls, we've ordered a metric ton of bull balls, and they'll be served all weekend long. Come partake in this Midwest delicacy. Wow.
There you go.
What goes better with hot steamy balls than a cold glass of beer? I gotta hand it to them, man. They got some crap. I know a dude wrote this stuff, man. Had to have wrote this stuff. Like, I'm starting to think this might be a little misogynistic, man.
Oh, I knew you were gonna get a kick out of that, man. I saw that. I'm
Wow.
like, yeah, we gotta check that out.
Beer, bands, and balls. Check it out. Camping, tent camping.
There it
Wow.
is, man.
RV camping, $190.
Oh yeah, it's a big deal, man. People come all over the country for this.
Well, cool. I wish the ball festival to be a bag of fun.
Yeah, for sure, man.
All right.
All
Well,
right, man.
we killed
All
that
right.
one, didn't we?
Oh man, that's too much. So we had that interview. We're gonna go to break and play the interview with Philip Mason. Great interview. You did a great job. So I'm looking forward to that. Then we can have more discussion on it and hit a few more things.
Sounds like a plan, man.
Okay.
We'll be right back after this short word from our non-sponsor.
It must be the way I walk. It must be the way I talk. You know I got something to say. And I can keep going for days, yeah. Call me up if you need a little sauce, baby. Follow me if you get a little lost. I'ma put the money in the toll on the road. You gotta pay the cost to be the boss. Come on sky what it takes. I don't wanna slice, want the whole cake. Make the money move, that's my forte. Then I'ma take off for the whole day. I'm just weighing all my options. Looking at my watch, hit me back when it's popping. I've been on top, cause my stock never dropping. And this is for the ones that been watching. Boss up. Come on, boss up. Come on, boss up. Come on, boss up. Never been down on my luck. Boss up. Come on, boss up. Come on, boss up. Come on, boss up. Never been down on my luck to the.
We are back from that short intermission, and just to provide a little bit of context, so we talked with a short-term rental owner. He owns two short-term rentals. He lives like right outside the Bella Vista city limits. He owns two in Bella Vista and one in Bentonville, so he can provide some information on how the city of Bentonville is handling stuff. He's obviously educated in the short-term rental world. And, he's been, kind of heavily invested in following this proposed legislation, and because it directly impacts him as a short-term rental owner. And he can provide some, I guess, perspective from what it's like to own a short-term rental in Bella Vista versus Bentonville, especially with this proposed legislation, and how this could impact him as a property owner. As well as how they are starting to organize to prepare for government overreach. It was a pleasure sitting and talking with him. We did an interview yesterday. Mark, you're part of I think one of the short-term rental groups, right?
Yeah, and Philip he spoke at the meeting, at the public meeting there at City Hall, and he's also been involved on the Facebook pages and having discussion and his stances, and so that's how we connected. That's why we had the opportunity to have an interview with him, and he didn't disappoint. That's for sure.
No, it was awesome talking to him and getting some perspective, and we're gonna cut over to that, and then we'll come back and we'll discuss it. So, Mark, we've got, had a busy week out at Amped Electric Games, but we have a guest on this week. Tell me a little bit more about our guest.
Yeah, I'm honored to have Philip Mason on. He's a short-term rental owner. He has three rental units, two in Bella Vista and one in Bentonville. He's been vocal in discussing and supporting short-term rentals as we are. And has been at these meetings, and he's been on short-term rental Facebook pages in support and trying to fight some of this, push legislation through the city. So we're happy to have him here tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, let's go ahead and bring him on. Hi, Philip.
Hey, guys. How's it going?
It's going. Good. Another great day in Bella Vista, USA. That's what I always say.
Good.
So you own a couple of short-term rentals in Bella Vista that would be impacted by this proposed legislation. Well, all three, maybe four now. I've lost count of these legislations that they're trying to craft. I I watched the last city council meeting, and I was a little bit hopeful that they were going to take all three of them and go back to the drawing board. But I'd like to really understand, your thoughts on the three proposed legislations that did get read at the work session. And then obviously they decided to kind of put another pause on it till the next city council.
Yeah, so I can tell you how things work in the city council. So once the city council has a desire to pass something, they'll just keep pushing with it, like a running back going through going for a touchdown. They'll just keep going until they get that touchdown. So if we don't like something with what's going on with our city council, we've got to actually like do something about it, like, because they will not stop. And that's just kind of the pattern we've seen over and over and over again with them. And so these short-term rental regulations, there's actually three individuals that are pushing for this short-term rental ordinance. And Mayor Peter Christie is actually one of those.
Uh-huh.
And he's probably been one of the more vocal ones on it. And then also Stephen Burke has been pushing really hard for us. And one of the biggest actually is Doug Fowler. So those three are being the ones that have pushing for it. And they need 4 votes to pass this thing, though. And it seems like the other ones are kind of sort of on board and gaining some steam there. But one thing we do know is that John Flynn, who's actually also running for mayor of Bella Vista, has a voting record where if Peter Christie votes one way, he'll also vote any way that Peter Christie votes.
Yeah.
So they can totally get this thing passed at any time. And what's so goofy about this whole situation is they've actually exercised the emergency provision clause for passing an ordinance, which the city of Bella Vista has, which is kind of shady, because where's the emergency?
I think we discussed that on a podcast a week or two ago. Was like, what is this potentially? I know when I've talked with councilmen, this potentially impacts 2%. Like a bad STR owner, right? Probably only impacts about 1% of the total population, right? But at best, with the numbers that we're looking at, I think the last count they had was like 400-ish, maybe 500. We'll give it 500. We'll give it on the high end. That's still only like 5% of the population, right? And so for them to go in and enact an emergency clause for short-term rentals are getting out of control. I find comical, because we were asking them to, enact the city emergency ordinances for a fire that burned for almost a year in a community, and they never enacted the city's emergency clause for, trying to seek aid from the county. They never did that. And so I look at that as a way for them to try to force legislation. If anything, I think if you're going to use an emergency clause, you should cap the number. Give 60, 90 days, disclose that you're a short-term rental owner, you get a free permit, right? You get a free operations permit until we draft thoughtful legislation that works for all parties involved. That would be the way I would approach it. What are your thoughts?
So I don't even think the city council should be touching this issue. Like, I really don't. And the reason why is because the U.S. Constitution in the Fifth Amendment actually guarantees each individual's property rights. So if you purchase a property, you have the right to rent it out to someone else, period.
Yeah.
And what will happen is, if the city keeps going down this road and they want to implement all these regulations, all these ordinances, they want to cap it, they want to fine you, they want to send the police to your door if you don't comply. They're basically doing what Fayetteville just did. So Fayetteville came in with a really strong, heavy arm, and they said, you cannot do short-term rentals. And the people rebelled down in Fayetteville. They said, no way, we want short-term rentals. Right. So the city came back and they put in a new, a very heavy-handed string of regulations on those STRs, which are currently in place right now, but hopefully will be repealed at some point. So basically what our city council has done is copied what Fayetteville's done, and they brought it up. And what I'd like to see them do is do what Bentonville's done. Bentonville's been really wise. They know that short-term rentals bring in a lot of sales tax.
Yep.
And they've been really pro STR. And so it's such a beautiful thing for a business owner, for a property owner to be able to set up an STR in Bentonville. And I've got one of my properties there, and it's just really slick. So Bella Vista, on the other hand, seems bent on making it almost impossible for someone to use their property the way they'd like to use it. And so one of those ways is just capping the number of properties. And like you mentioned already, if you have, they're talking about capping it at 600. So there's currently roughly about 15,000 actual homes in Bella Vista. So that's 4% of the actual homes in Bella Vista would be short-term rentals, which is minuscule. It's not very much.
Yeah, I would say 5%, maybe 6% might not be bad. But if you went a little higher than that, then we might need to look at geographical locations so that maybe you don't have, a whole street and then like one property owner, and it turns into that party street. But at the end of the day, I think that they don't have enough data or demographic data to even to ramrod this through. And like I said, that 1% of like where somebody does have like a problem short-term rental on their street and it's impacting the quality of life for that resident. There's already ordinances in place that the police could enforce. Like, I think a gentleman came to the city council meeting and he's like, these guys were dropping F-bombs. They were violating the noise ordinance till 1 o'clock in the morning, shooting off fireworks, called the police. Police are like, there's nothing we can do about it. Right. I'm sorry. If it was me, I'm sure they'd be coming in my door knocking,
Yeah, so I think one thing that's important to realize there is we live in a very sophisticated age, and technology is amazing. Mm-hmm. So like I put both of my places on Airbnb and also on VRBO and on Google Listings, and these platforms are very sophisticated. They're international, and they're based on what we call a rapport system. So what that means is you get graded on how you performed as a host, and you also get graded on how you performed as a guest.
Okay.
So if you are not a good host and you're not a good guest, guess what? You get docked, and then the system is designed to kick you off if you continue to exhibit bad behavior. And so Airbnb has come out really strongly, and they've said, we do not allow any parties whatsoever at all. And so apparently, our city council doesn't realize that, because that's really important. So I'll give you an example. So I got on my place here in Bella Vista, I got a notification from Airbnb saying so-and-so wants to rent your property for one night. It's on prom night, and they want 10 people to come to your place. No. And so we've blocked them, and you can override it if you want, but we've blocked them, and we don't suggest that you book them. And of course, I'm not going to book them. I don't want a teenage party going on in my place on prom night. So
absolutely, man. Absolutely.
That was one I just ignored right off the bat. And I've gotten multiple ones like that. So Airbnb is actually screening those. And if you're going to be that person that's up to 1:30 at night making noise or doing whatever you're doing, drinking and such, that's just not happening anymore. Like those platforms are screening people out. So it's when people get up in the city council meeting, they talk about that. It's really becoming a non-issue. Like, that's not important anymore.
So my in-laws, they have a condo, and several of the condos around them are, short-term rental. And, there are some, I think there are some valid concerns on their part about, a shared wall. Where you have a shared wall, obviously the noise changes whenever you have, a younger couple or a couple with kids or whatnot. And then people staying up later, potential for fire hazard exists, right? Because it's a shared, you got one roof for, 2 or 3 homes. I said that was easily solvable, and that really falls to the townhome association to say, okay, do we allow this? If you have a shared wall with a permanent resident, then thou shalt not rent. But do you think that the city, the city isn't even thinking of those type of scenarios? Because I did read one of the proposals where it was like, if it was less than 4 people, then you didn't even have to be permitted.
Yeah, so that's a good question. So one of my properties is actually a townhome, and it does have shared walls on it. But I can tell you, like, it's in my best interest to do what's in the best interest of my neighbors in that situation, because I want my property to be rented successfully, and I also want my neighbors to be happy, and I want them to look after my property too. Like if there's something going wrong, I want them to tell me about it. So I develop relationships with my neighbors, and they know what's going on with that rental, and they've had really good positive experiences with people who come to stay. Like for example, I had one couple that were in there for about 27, 28 days, so a little bit longer stay. But they were there, and one of my neighbors is an elderly gentleman, just lives with his dog, and something had broken on his house. I think it was a plumbing piece, or and then also outside he had something wrong with his gutter or something. And the guest that was staying with me was a construction guy, and he knew how to fix all those things. So he went over and helped him make those repairs.
That's awesome.
And it was just like, it was an awesome neighborly story. Like,
Yeah.
That's awesome. That's really awesome.
Yeah, it was just cool.
More
So
people got to learn how to communicate, man.
Yeah.
That's the problem.
Yeah.
well, and I always said that too. It's like, developing a relationship. And I think a lot of short-term rental, when we went to that public input meeting, Mark, a lot of the short-term rental owners that did show up there, they do know their neighbors. They live quasi-local, and they are very concerned about, making sure that their property doesn't become a problem property. So, much like Uric said, is he maintains his property, and his property is one of the nicest properties on the street, et cetera, right? They've invested the money to update the property and all that. So at the end of the day, I think that my view is that the city needs to get it right. They need to quit trying to exploit the property owner, because I look at a lot of this as exploitation. For profit for the Advertising and Promotion Commission. And on top of that, I've been asking for their budget. Their budget has been outsourced to a private entity. They're contracted through another company, still waiting on the books. But, I can assure you that the money going out to that Advertising and Promotion Commission, or the money that's being spent, it's probably a lot of money when you start looking at these videos, Trailtown USA, et cetera, right? So I look at it like a way for them to pad their budget with, some of these fees. Can you tell me a little bit about Bentonville's fees? What is Bentonville charging you to operate? Is it an annual? Is it every 2 years or 3 years? Give us a little insight on that.
Yeah, so Bentonville is, they really haven't enacted anything, like it's just free and open. So, but I do pay sales tax. So if at the latest go around here is 2%. So 2% of every stay that I make, it goes into their coffers. So Bella Vista is different though. So Bella Vista, I'm paying sales tax, but then I'm also paying another 2% to go to their Advertising and Promotion Committee, which is supposed to draw people into the area. But from what I've seen, it's the Advertising Promotion Committee is very ineffective, and they just randomly ad hoc will spend money in Nebraska, and they'll spend money in Kansas City, and then they'll throw money down here. And a lot of times it actually attracts it advertises for other businesses that aren't actually directly connected to Bella Vista, believe it or not.
Yeah.
And so if those dollars really should be spent for businesses in Bella Vista, like our short-term rentals, and just businesses that support short-term rentals, whether it be grocery stores or restaurants, etc. And so that's 4%. So 2% goes to the AMP Commission, and then 2% goes to the sales tax, just general fund for Bella Vista.
Okay.
So that was never a conversation, Chris. See, they only had their information right. They told me 2% of the sales tax and 1% for food, restaurant.
Right.
You're telling me 4%. 4%. So
Yeah, I automatically pay 4% on every stay on my places. Goes to the city of Bella Vista.
And if they get their way, you'll have to pay up to possibly $100 per year annual to permit your place as well, and then have inspection fees if you don't pass the first time, annual inspections plus a biannual. I'm combining all three of these together because we don't know what the next iteration of this legislation is going to be.
Yeah.
But I mean, obviously a septic inspection, that costs money to you. Any violations with possible GFIs or fire extinguishers, you name it, right? I mean, that comes out of your pocket if they don't like it. Annual CDS inspections, I think that was Doug Fowler's proposal, wanted annual community development services. So that's money out of taxpayer fund, general fund for taxpayers, right? Because now our community development service is already, hamstrung as is having to inspect these. I don't know when it ends, man. I really don't. And I'm like you. I don't like the government getting more into my business than they need to, right? And coming into your home starts to get a little sketch.
We talked about this before with the septics, and you go in there and they're going to tell you this is your place, going to tell you need to pump your tank. Okay. $375, man. Boom. Right there. Oh, wait a minute. It looks like you have some issues with lateral lines. Next thing you know, you got to replace the tank and the lateral lines. Now you're in $5,000-$6,000. I mean, it's just not our business. That is the homeowner's business, and that's it. And it's overseen. Me and you talked about this, Chris. The ADH and the state oversees it.
Yep.
No reason for the city to get involved with it.
There's already a governing body on it, and on top of it, the city did pass an ordinance years ago. I think it was back in 2012. That if sewer becomes available on your street, upon a septic failure or a sale of your property, you have to convert it over to quote unquote sewer, which directly benefits village wastewater. So, if you replaced your sewer, your septic, and lo and behold, community development comes out to do your VRBO inspection, and they say, well, your septic system needs to be replaced because there's sewer available. You're out how many more thousands of dollars?
Probably close to $10,000 for a hookup to sewer. I mean,
I see this is not a place for when we don't have a public works department, we don't have a water utility, we don't have a septic or a sewer utility. I think this is overreach. I really do.
Yeah. I think the one thing you mentioned, Chris, too, and the city needs to drill down to exactly where the Airbnbs are, the short-term rentals. We have no clue. I mean, it needs to be drilled down east to west. It needs to be drilled down to subdivision.
Just a free disclosure. We know where you are. You're permitted. No cost. Basically, we know where you are. Right. Establish that first. Get that data first before you go forward with any type of regulation. I think Bentonville got it right. I think Phil's right. Bentonville got it right. Yeah. Hands-off approach. Pay your taxes.
Yep, I agree.
Phil, do you have any other insights on what the short-term rental group, where did we go from here? If they, like you said, they're heck bent on passing something. So like the quarterback with the football, he's going to score a touchdown. We've seen that behavior in some of the work sessions with specific people. What tools do you guys have in your arsenal to combat that whenever they start ramrodding through a bad legislation?
Yeah, so that's a good question because we've kind of shot holes in all of their arguments so far. So first they were saying that we were disturbing the community of Bella Vista, and we proved that wasn't true. And then they're saying stuff like the septic's a big problem, but we've explained that all you do is pump your septic system out more often. It's not a big deal. Property owners do it all the time. Yep. The expert they brought in actually spoke in our favor on that issue. And so there's just been one issue after another, and we've just kind of shot holes in all of them, but they're still continue to push forward with this. And because they're not listening, we're actually going to seek legal injunction against the city of Bella Vista. And we're hiring a professional attorney who specializes in short-term rentals and preserving the right to own a short-term rental here in Arkansas. Awesome. And so we're banding together as short-term rental owners. I'm actually a member of the Real Estate Investors of Northwest Arkansas and also a member of Short-Term Rental Hosts of Bella Vista. And so we're combining our efforts, and we're all pitching in and making sure that the city of Bella Vista hears us loud and clear, because we just won't tolerate our property rights being taken away. And This issue won't go away without a fight, and we just want them to know that.
Yeah, and anytime you give them an inch, man, they take a mile. And I mean, rights lost are rights very rarely regained. It'll stick around on the books, and they'll keep adding and adding and adding, and just it's a little. I honestly, I'm more of a like. I mean, let's do some common sense stuff. Let's establish where they're at. Like I keep saying, just get the data, establish where they're at. If you're operating, cool. If you become a problem, there's plenty of ordinances on the books, right? I look at a lot of this stuff as a way to push people out of it to make it difficult, right? And allow selective non-enforcement for their buddies, because we know we live in the good old boy, town of Bella Vista, where we refer to the relationship between the Architectural Control Committee, the Bella Vista POA, and the city is the three-legged stool, right? I would put a fourth leg on that myself, and or just throw the stool away and buy a new one. But they keep on wanting to, kind of work in sync, and that's not a good model for government to operate. When you swear an oath to the Constitution, you have an allegiance to be a good steward of taxpayer dollars and look out for the health and welfare and the well-being of the residents over your personal agendas. That's the thing that I see like a problem with the current structure of the city council and the relationships that these people have with the POA, the ACC, the Coopers, the Walton Family Foundation, the whole nine yards, right? It's a recipe for disaster.
Yeah. So Chris, you bring up a good point. So you mentioned the Waltons. So there's a growing number of us that are concerned because there's been a lot of hint dropping that we've heard from the city council that something big is coming to Bella Vista. And so what we do know for a fact is that the Waltons do own over 100 acres in Bella Vista along Highway 71. And they package these little parcels of land, or I should say large parcels of land, under shell companies or shell LLCs. So for example, they'll take the major road that runs through that property they purchased, like Gordon Hollow Real Estate Company, and they'll title it that. And so the city council knows that something's going on. In fact, I wouldn't be surprised if that new bridge project that they've got there on Mercy Way in Bella Vista is part of this whole big.
Wait, you mean the big rock pile behind the Village Pet Hospital that nobody can explain? I don't know, right?
Yes, exactly. That's what I'm talking about. And it wasn't done legally, and the city council should have never done it that way. And they never got the other organizations in Bella Vista involved, and they just kind of did it under the table. And so that's kind of what's been difficult, is the city council has been doing things under the table, so to speak. They made it very difficult for the public to get involved, and they've been exercising these emergency procedures. And it's just, the ethics just aren't there on it. And so there's a growing concern that there may be a possibility that the Waltons may be passing on some special favors to the city council under the table. We don't know for sure. We don't know if that's true.
One can speculate, and I don't want to, I don't want to get into an issue of hearsay or slander or defamatory commentary, but we do know that they have a vested interest in Northwest Arkansas. They are doing community improvement projects, etc. We know that the Runway Group, they have people that are running for city council currently in Bella Vista. We know that they have people that are associated with them in some form or fashion that are on the Bella Vista board of directors for the POA, right? So we know this. We consider and act like, well, we don't know this. We do know this. But you brought up the word ethics, right? Being an ethical person and actually realizing your position as a city council member is to represent your ward, your district, etc. Not to go out here and try to build your own little empire, and then whenever you're not in city council, I guarantee you, we need to keep an eye on that Fowler guy, man. We need to keep an eye on him, right? When he's done, I'm sure he's going to be moving on to bigger and better things, right?
And he's on the AMP commission.
Yeah, exactly.
And so, and that money is unaccounted for. That 2% go to the AMP commission. He's on that committee for that and leads that.
And we can't even see the budget.
yeah, we can't even see the budget for it. So where are those monies going? What are they being
Right.
spent on? And what is he promoting that we don't know with our money?
Right.
And
Exactly.
if the Waltons come in and build something grandiose and amazing, and they capture all the short-term rental market, and after it's been capped at 600, and as that number of homes in Bella Vista grows and grows, and
Yeah.
the Waltons are going to get the lion's share of it, and the poor little individual property investors are going to get stiff-armed.
Yep.
And that's what's not right about the whole situation. I respect the Waltons. They've done a lot of great work.
Oh,
in the
they do
community.
awesome stuff for the
Yeah,
whole
they do
for the
awesome
whole
stuff.
community, and I'm not throwing shade in their way at all. But what I'm saying is there's a right way to do stuff, and that's from our city council, right? Our city council, our local leaders, should not be influenced. It's kind of like lobbying, right? I mean, like, you can lobby and you can lobby, right? But at the end of the day, you have an allegiance to we the people, not we the corporations or we the millionaires or billionaires of the United States, right? And I think that reminder needs to be put out there. And I mean, Mark went to the city council meeting a few weeks ago and was accused of, throwing a scud at Doug. But, I mean, hey, truth hurts sometimes. It hurts.
Well, here's the thing with the legislation. In the last 6 weeks, man, it just went into overdrive, Chris.
It did.
It's got to get through the emergency.
Somebody threw
It's
that
the
thing
end
in
of the
sixth
world.
gear, man. It was like slam it down, hammer down,
Yeah, when I had that conversation with her and said, move it until there's a new mayor in place, they didn't want anything of it. It was October. Now it's back to August. Now we're in September.
Yeah.
I mean, they want it done for a reason.
Well, they got to get it done
Something's-
before Peter's out. And before Peter's out, before John Flynn is out of his position and Steve Bork's out of his position. That's the
question-
emergency. That's the
question
actual
is
emergency.
why. Yeah.
Well, because they're not
So-
going to have the votes. If you get people from Bella Vista that's why I've always said I'm really excited about the amount of people running for city council right now, right? And that we have 3 people running for mayor is there's many dogs in this race, and the potential to not get somebody who is influenced or backed by one of these major corporations or special interest groups is what we'll call them. It chips away at their ability to get some of this stuff passed, right? So,
Right.
That's why we're interviewing candidates, right? We're trying to figure out who has our interest at best. Like I can't stress this enough for anybody that's like lives in Bella Vista. You need to learn who these candidates are. You need to do your research on who these candidates are and make the best educated vote this round, because this is we're in a situation where if we get a bunch of people who are backed by special interest groups, this is a turning point for Bella Vista. It
Oh,
won't
there's
be
no
what we love about it.
There's no doubt about that. Well, hey,
Sorry, Phil, we talk
really
a lot.
appreciate-
You guys are great.
Well,
Phil, we appreciate your time tonight and your insight. Hopefully we don't get to a point where the lawyers got to get involved, but if it has to happen that way, then so be it.
I like to
Yeah,
see
for
that you
sure.
guys are willing to do that, though. I mean, a lot of people will talk about it, but a lot of people won't come to the table and actually do that. And I've seen you guys have a good Give, Send, Go out there. Fundraising, crowdfunding, and that's the way to do it, man. Is get the community involved and take the fight to them. Honestly, that's the right way to do it.
Yeah, and I will tell everybody here, just in closing, that if get involved. Email your councilman, email the mayor, call them, show up to the city council meetings, put your name normally for your 3 minutes. And if you want to know who I'm voting for, I'm voting for Randy Murray for mayor of Bella Vista. The guy is just awesome, and he is really a rock star in my eyes, and he's going to stand up for our property rights, and he's just going to make Bella Vista a much easier and simpler place for everyone to function and enjoy their community. And I also would recommend as well, Julie Yandel is running for a council spot, as well as Wynn Peterson, and both of those candidates are excellent short-term rental proponents, and they will support your property rights. And they'll do a lot of other great things too as well. But they have my full support as candidates, so that's who I'll be voting for.
Awesome. Yeah, we'd love to have them on. Let them know about us. And I mean, we've had Randy on a few times, and I think we've made it through the majority of Ward 1, Position 1 council members, and now we have to move on to the other wards. Right. That's like, there's a lot of people in this race, and it's coming around the corner, November, man.
Yeah.
Well, appreciate your time, Philip. And if you have any updates for us, feel free to give us a call or shoot us an email, and we'll have you back on.
All right. Sounds good. Thanks, Chris.
Thanks, Philip.
Thanks.
Have a good night.
You too. Take care.
Thanks.
It must be the way I walk. It must be the way I talk. You know I got something to say, and I can keep going for days. Yeah, call me up if you need a little sauce, baby. Follow me if you get a little lost. I'ma put the money in the toll on the road. You gotta pay the cost to be the boss. Boss up. Come on, boss up. Come on, boss up. Come on, boss up. Never been down on my luck. Boss up. Come on, boss up. Come on, boss up. Come on, boss up. Never been down on my luck. Nah, 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 nah. Nah, 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 nah. Nah, 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 nah. I got what it takes, got what it takes. I don't want a slice, want the whole cake. Make the money move, that's my forte. Then I'ma take off for the whole day. I'm just weighing all my options. Looking at my watch, hit me back when it's popping. I've been on top, cause my stock never dropping. And this is for them ones that been watching. Boss up. Come on, boss up. Come on, boss up. Come on, boss up. Never been down on my luck. Boss up. Come on, boss up. Come on, boss up. Come on, boss up. Never been down on my luck to the.
Gotta hydrate, kids. Gotta hydrate.
That video never gets old. I like
Dude, it
watching
doesn't,
it.
man. I'm like, I'm hopeful that I'm gonna get out with the guys and gals and do some more recording in the near future. Float Life Fest is coming up, and so we're trying to kind of get a little bit of promotion going on for the shop. A lot of
Rob
people
makes it look so easy, though, man.
He does. The guy's great, man. I mean, like, he's a soccer coach in my kids' age division as well. On top of it,
Okay.
But
Good stuff,
I don't know.
man.
It's so fun, man. It's so fun. I gotta sneeze. Let's talk a little bit, though. Oh, sorry about that. Sorry, people. Sneeze Master got me in a headlock in there for a second. Sorry about that, peeps. So, I mean, like, talking with Phil, man. So we're not the only people thinking the same things, man. I mean, like, you can sit there and say, like, you get your.
He's very well spoken. He aligns pretty much where we do. Less government overreach, and apparently, they're going to continue to push this through. So, I mean,
I just
the
don't see
outcome
why.
I see here is
And I think we know why, Mark. But there's so many outside little tentacles on these people, right?
Right.
They're the people pulling the strings, like they're like the puppet masters, right?
Right.
And they're making
Yeah.
stuff happen. And I didn't even know that the W family, we'll call them that, right? Special interest groups owned that much acreage right along 71B, right? I mean, I was unaware of that. I know there's a lot of shell LLCs though that own a lot of property in Bella Vista, and that's a concern. As somebody who lives here and owns a house, and wants to build roots for my son, right?
Yeah.
It's concerning. Very is.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. I mean, he made some really, really good points, and just the Airbnbs and the VRBOs, the oversight that they have, there's really no need for the city to step in and manage that. I
Right.
mean, like he was saying, Philip was saying that they'll weed each other out. They'll weed them out. Whether it's by the Airbnb or VRBO, or by clients stop going there, or customers, and start going to another Airbnb.
Or by
because,
enacting and actually
they're not taking
enforcing-
care of it.
or
Yeah.
or just by enforcing existing, city regulations and ordinances, right?
Right.
The one thing that I've noticed a trend is people coming in and talking about where they've called the non-emergency number, and basically gotten no service. I've noticed that at like several city council meetings ever since I brought it up, right? Obviously, you never notice that you're driving a Honda Civic until you buy one, right? And then you see them everywhere on the road. I had a Mitsubishi Outlander, and I was like, I've never seen this vehicle.
Right.
And then all of a sudden I buy one, and I see them everywhere, right? But it's like, so I made a complaint, and now I see it everywhere.
Right.
And so, that's the thing is like, there are things that, is it criminal? No. Is it civil? Yes. Do the police, maybe you can ask this, does the police department have the ability to say, I'm not going to enforce a civil infraction, right? When you go to coffee with a cop, ask that question, right?
Right.
It seems, it goes back to the term that I keep on using, and it's selective enforcement, right? Versus like there's a known problem, enforce the law, right?
Right.
Because if that's the case, right, we know that people are driving from Bella Vista Country Club after they've had their, special on, margaritas, and but we could selectively not, they're 2 minutes from their home. We can selectively not, give them a DUI, right, a DUI, or do we just enact this? Do we enforce it across the board? All the time, every time. I get it. Somebody calls, the music's loud. You show up, the music's not loud. You can still knock on that door. Let them know that your presence is there, right? Show
Right.
force, right?
Yeah, you make
I
some
don't know.
valid points, and I'll have that conversation.
Maybe I
I'll-
need to go
I'll
to
bring that
coffee
up.
with a cop and bring donuts. Maybe. I don't know. We'll see what next Thursday. Was it next Thursday? I think it's next Thursday. or Thursday after.
22nd. So a week and a half. Week and a half.
Yeah, we'll
Almost
see.
2
We'll,
weeks.
we'll see what happens. Man, the sneeze monster just caught me whenever I went to the bathroom during that break, man. And it's like, and he's like all up in my nose, man. So that being said, we got a couple more topics to talk about, but we're gonna go ahead and bring it on.
Oh no.
We're opening it up. We're opening up the phone lines. If you guys want to talk to us, make commentary with us, talk with us, chat with us, whatever, the phone line is open. 479-202-4053. Remember to like, share, subscribe, tell a friend. We're just two normal dudes that live in this community, and
Right.
well, we like to listen to Twisted Sister. We're not going to take it, but that's us, right? We're just talking, putting our perspective out there. We don't bite too much. 479-202-4053. If you want to call in, give us a shout out. You call in acting like an ass. We can get in a healthy debate, but you know what? At some point, I may just kick your butt off of here. But that being said, no, you guys are more than welcome to call in. That means that we go over to the 5-year POA strategic plan.
Yeah, I mean, you're doing all this. We get all this stuff going on with the city. Then we just roll right into the POA. I mean, the meeting took place this week, and there's a lot of moving pieces in this 5-year plan.
POA, man, they're money hungry right now. You know, they're money hungry for one, but now they're trying to sell you that like 1978 Yugo with blown out cylinders and bad axles, and the ball joints are rubbing and knocking. You tie rod ends. I mean, you can't even drive straight at 25 mile an hour. But you know what? We're gonna sell this turd, and and buddy, this is the best thing, man, since Tesla came out. Right? You know, it's a pig with lipstick is what they're basically trying to sell. And you know, I watched some of it, but you know, you brought it up to me, and I had to recap it. I had to go back. But they equated something in their 5-year proposal, right? They were talking about like money, why they need to invest, and da-da-da, right? And then he brought up this thing, well, we had some money that had to, you know, like be distributed due to a little fire. Yeah. Little fire, right? A little fire? Yeah. Tommy boy. All right. I mean, like, do I need to pull up some Chris Farley, Tommy boy? Yes, a little fire. Do I need to bring that crap up, man? Or do I just say, like, by little you mean the one that the state of Arkansas deemed the Bella Vista Property Owners Association being the primary responsible party on, and had the state of Arkansas put it out, it would have cost $25 to possibly $40 million to put out. You guys finagled your way into an agreement, and to be quite honest, you guys did a good job. You got it out, right? I'm not gonna say you did a great job. I don't know what kind of damage it did to the environment or my family, but you still settled for roughly $5 million on it. I honestly, I'm gonna have to go with the vote of no confidence on some of the legal aspects of this, because you know the can was kicked down the road so many times on this that I think everybody was just about ready for it to end. So, do I call it a little fire, as Tom Judson did at, what was the time? let's go over to web share real quick. Still got the testicle festival. 7 minutes 40
seconds.
Still got the testicle festival, man. See, like that's where I think I could like get down with a testicle. Tom, let's have a debate. Was this a little fire or not? That's a real testicle festival. Me and him in the ring, right? I'm just saying. So I think it's about 7:43 is where we're at on this meeting. We're going to go ahead and hit play and let everybody else hear it word for word.
It's a little bit of a hot topic right now. So that's what we're talking about, assessments. Okay, reserves. So what was our reserves look like a couple of years ago when we had that little fire? Wasn't very good, was it? So we're heading in the right direction. We're in much better shape financially now, but we still have a ways to go. So we need to have reserves just in case something else comes our way down the road. Now,
I don't know, maybe another, hold on, I'm going to hit pause. Maybe another fire from an illegally run unpermitted dump that you ran as an amenity? I mean, like, I agree, Tom. You need some reserves. Maybe you should back off on like remodeling the Taj Mahal at Bella Vista a little bit. Scale it down a little bit, buddy. I'm just saying.
Right. Yeah, we don't need another. We don't need
tell
another
you
fire,
how much you have to have. But a
borrowing
POA,
money against the
thing.
water
really
utility.
Open. So I sat down with our CFO and we talked about, and we're really talking about risk management here, and we're talking about what is covered by insurance.
I can't listen to this. If you guys want to listen to this, it's on the Bella Vista POA's YouTube channel. You can listen to the whole thing in its entirety, but I just want to say somebody's blowing smoke from a little fire up everybody's butt. Pretty
Yeah,
much,
people,
right?
People
Little
in
fire,
Bella
just a little
Vista,
fire.
they know what really happened, Chris. They know the facts. It's the people that try to go
like
around
they
it
they
and ignore
minimize
what
they
really
minimize the
happened,
situation for over the city and the POA minimize the situation for over a year. They still minimize it to this day, right?
Yeah.
There is no dignity. There is no respect. There is no. We're sorry. We messed with you, right? There's
Yeah.
none of that, right? So at this point, I have no respect for these people. These people could get in their car and catch on fire, and I probably would just not pee on them. I would call somebody. I'd call 911, but I wouldn't pee on them to save their life. I'm at that point, right? You minimize. You just, Chris is getting a little fired up. Sorry, calling it a little fire, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Little fire.
Well,
right?
it goes back to like we discussed before, and leadership and lack of accountability, man. That's just that simple. It's clear cut. We all know what happened. It's all chronicled.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's all detailed.
Wait
it's all
for that
broken down,
Netflix,
and,
that made for Netflix movie that we'll be producing in a couple of years. I think I'm gonna have Brad Pitt play me, man. Just for real.
There you go, man.
Ethan Hawke would be a good me. I think he'd be a good me. Ethan Hawke, that's it right there. I'm Ethan Hawke.
Oh man, that's too much. So I mean, there's going to be a lot of increases over the next 5 years. Is what's going to happen?
It just sounds like chipping away at
so people
everybody's
need to look at
wallets.
that. What,
It's just
I'm
chipping
sorry,
away.
I lost you for a second.
It's constantly chipping away at everybody's wallets is really what it boils
Yeah.
down to. These little tiny increases, it's kind of like inflation, right? You go to the grocery store and toilet paper was $7.95 last week, and now it's $8.95 this week. And then the following week, it's $9.95. It's just little micro steps to
right.
is this really like where I want to be, right?
Well,
And what do they get at? What do they gain out of that? They push the current demographic out, right? Because we're not taking into account that Bella Vista was marketed as a retirement destination for years, right? And now we're slowly chipping away at that retirement community, right? Their cost of living is going up, but their Social Security ain't. But if you really want to talk about something that's going up, I need to move to California and be a fast food worker because their minimum wages, I think, is bumping up to $22 an hour now, man.
Holy moly, man.
$22 an hour to flip a freaking burger, man.
Good stuff.
Yep. Start cooking at home, peoples. Get a lot better food. Better food.
Burgers will be $10 a piece.
Hit that $10 deal. We're posting them every week. Come on. Right?
Hey, man, we got to get people through the winter.
Yeah.
We got to, this is going to, oil prices, gas prices, everything's going to hit going into winter,
prices
man.
are going down,
go
Mark.
through this.
Gas, average price of gas, $2.95 a gallon in Arkansas right now. Yeah. Well, there's an election coming around the corner. They need to lower the guy. I mean, the president doesn't control it. Yeah, he doesn't control it, but there's special interest groups that do.
Right. Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, natural gas, propane gas, electric, all that stuff's going to go. You're going to have 30, 40, 50% increases in
Speaking of propane.
in heating. Then what are you going to do?
Speaking of propane, right? I know everybody's comfy with that tank just sipping propane over the summertime, right?
Yeah.
Get it filled now. Get it filled now. We got ours filled last week. We good to go?
Yeah.
And I would even go as far as to say start getting your electric heaters, your little space heaters, because those things can actually help you save a lot of propane.
Yeah.
Augmenting heating up a room while you're in it, not having to turn that thermostat up, heating the whole house. I'm saying get this stuff in advance. Wintertime's around the corner.
Yeah. It's going to get tough, man.
You're gonna have to do what you
got
gotta do.
If you got a regular $250, $300 heating bill, you're probably going to be projected to be double that. in most places in the country right now.
Yeah, I think
You're gonna
propane's going to be
double that.
rough this year. I think it's going to be very rough this year.
Yeah.
And not to mention electric and all that. You know, if you're solely electric heat and all that. I think it's going to be a rough year, man. And
Yeah.
we just have to see how it goes. But we wish everybody, the best. And
Yeah.
we're always here
He's
for
gonna
you.
do-
If you need something, give us a call. We'll see what we can do. We can make some phone calls.
Yeah, for sure, man.
Got a lot
Gotta have that-
lot of good people in our circle, in our spheres and stuff. So
Yeah, yeah. We got to band together, man.
yeah,
You know,
well,
we just gotta band together.
that's what community is, though, is actually looking after each other and taking care of each other and trying to see where we can help. And
Right.
so,
Right.
but Mark,
We don't need to take photo ops while we're doing that and
No,
post.
well,
it,
I was gonna pressure wash somebody's driveway and take a photo op, but I was like, I can't, I can't bring myself to do that. Went and helped out a resident with their dehumidifier that failed on their property. I was like, should I do a selfie? No, I thought that didn't even cross my mind, right?
Right.
But, if I was running for mayor, maybe I would say I had like 5 years of community service, helping out people doing selfies. Like, I got 5 years worth of selfies, cleaning driveways or something. I don't know, man. I'm just saying. Right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Speaking of old pressure washing, you ran into him over at the public input.
Oh, the fire.
right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Steve Bork was there. Yeah.
Yeah.
The 5-year POA 5-year plan. Yeah.
You picked
He
up a
was
card
there.
from him, right? You still got the card handy?
I do have it. Matter of fact,
Grab it, man. Let's
hold on.
go ahead and review that. We've been asking the guy for an
Okay,
interview.
hold on.
He's the holdout candidate, so I guess we'll just have to read his card. All it takes is an interview. That's all I'm saying, peoples. That's all it takes. Little interview.
All right, I got it here.
All it
let's
takes is
see.
an interview, Mark. But I mean, apparently we're relegated to
You
reading
want the
a
front
card.
of it or the back?
I
The
think you show both
qualifications
of
or
it,
the
like I
back?
did old Pete's.
Okay,
No?
I'll do it since he's not on site here. Do I talk like him too or no?
No, you just
Steve Bork.
Show me what he's running on, man.
All right, so Steve Bork, he'll work for you for Bella Vista Mayor. His platform: transparency in government, fiscal responsibility, pro law enforcement and firefighters, pro local business, opposing heavy-handed government. Stephen is an assertive leader with management experience and a strong record of serving Bella Vista. So, qualifications, he's got a list here, man.
All right, let's hear 'em.
I love Bella Vista.
I love Bella
I'm
Vista.
sorry,
That's a
what?
qualification, right? That's a qualification. I love Bella Vista. Okay. Next.
Wait, you tell me. I didn't write it.
I'm not jumping you, man. I'm okay.
I know.
Next.
I know.
What's your next qualification to be mayor?
36-year career information technology management, 30 years leading large servers delivery teams, 30 years managing complex budgets, 4 years serving at Bella Vista Council, 1 year serving at Bella Vista Planning Commission, 5 years of community service in Bella Vista.
That's the 5 years of
1980.
pressure washing right there. I think.
Oh, might be. Yeah, it could be.
Yeah.
1981 graduate at University of Arkansas. 1996 graduate of Cromer Graduate School.
All
I'm
right,
not
cool.
sure what that
So
is, MBA.
that means you're
don't
the
know.
guy, right? That's the guy. Hard pass.
That's our.
Hard pass, man.
Well, he's running for
I gotta
mayor,
say,
buddy.
I can look at talking points. I mean, I can write some cool crap on a card, man, to make me sound like awesome. Or I could come and do an interview, right, and like let people get to know
Yeah.
me, right?
You could
But
do that.
I don't know, man. Avoiding us like the plague, man, like the monkeypox.
Yeah. Yeah. Hey,
Yeah.
it's not a sprint; it's a marathon, brother.
It's a marathon, bro. It's a marathon, and the only
So,
person I've seen running a marathon
go
has
ahead.
been old Randy, man, that guy's everywhere, man. He was out talking to Sarah Huckabee Sanders today.
I saw
You
a
see that?
picture of that. Was that today? Yeah, it was
Yeah, it
today,
was.
wasn't it?
There's the
Yeah.
usual political peoples in the background. I saw a couple of them on the photos and stuff.
Who was in the background?
There was just the usual crowd of photo oppers.
Okay. I'll have to look at it. I didn't pick up on
I
who's
picked
back
up
there.
on it. I pick up on it, man. I mean, like these people, I could like. I'm sorry, man. I can pick up on a profile shot or a headshot or an ear shot. Like I know
It's
who
like
that
a-
ear belongs to, man. You know, like I mean, like if I was gonna have to pick you off at like I don't know 280 yards away, man, I know that ear, man. You know, I'm just saying.
like a
I'm not
mo-
talking about doing any of that crap, all right, people. But I see people, and they're all. It's the same political types for photo ops, and I don't know. Schmoozing, political schmoozing. They're always at these things, right? And you see them in the background pictures, and you're like, oh, there they are. Yep. How did I know that person was going to be there? I don't
Right.
know. No.
Right. Yeah, you made some valid points before,
predictable.
though. Sometimes you got to do that stuff you don't want to do, right? So,
Yeah, you have to play the
just use your
game,
mind.
right? In the world of politics, you have to play a game. You have to be there. You have to do it. Doesn't mean you 100%, are in agreement. You have to play the game, right? It's a game. Politics is a game. I wish it wasn't. I wish people took politics seriously and, took it ethically and said, like, this is my name associated with this. I mean, I remember back in the day, man, my dad always said, man, the only thing you really have is your word and your name.
yeah.
And if you
very
screw
true.
those two up,
Yeah.
right,
Yeah.
that's it for you, right? Well, that's not the times we live in anymore. It's not, man.
No.
You can
no.
act obtuse to a critical situation. You can act like I didn't know, even though the FOIA shows that you knew. That's cool. Just if you're cool living your life like that, if you're really I'm gonna have a conscience moment right now, right? If you're cool living your life like that, if you're cool with telling yourself lies, right? If you're cool with being that person that just screws over people for self-gain, man, throw your name in the hat. Do it, right? But I'm not going to put up with it. I'll be up your butt every freaking day of the week. I don't care anymore, man. I'm sick of bad actors. I'm sick of people that act like they're better human beings than what they really actually are.
Yeah.
Don't lecture me anymore at a city council meeting. Don't tell me about how you think so-and-so is great, but I'm a piece of crap because I'm here as an unsatisfied customer from your customer service abilities, right? I'm the bad person. I'm sorry, Doug. I'm not the bad person. It's called self-reflection,
Yeah.
right? Humble yourself. Get right. Start doing it right.
Well-
That's all I got to say.
Yeah. Yeah, I totally agree. I mean, it's just, and we've seen it time and time again, it's falling on deaf ears. It's like you go in there and you make your points and they just move it on. Your 3 minutes are done. Next.
I so
know,
feel
I
validated.
mean, that's it.
Right?
Nothing's
I
ever
feel
done.
validated by you moving on. Who's next?
Right. So, hey, you know what? Before we wrap up tonight, I wanted to, I sent you that link on that loan program. It just really caught my eye.
I don't even
know
want
if
to
you
go
have the
into
link
that
to
because
that.
I'm gonna get fired
Okay.
up over that one, bro. Like, we'll
Okay,
save
we
that
can
one
hit
till
the-
next week because
Okay,
yeah.
yeah.
that one right there is gonna set me off at just thinking about everything that we just discussed, and
Yeah,
that's gonna
okay,
put me
that's
over
fine.
the limit right there on like what I'm probably allowed to say on this platform.
Yeah,
But
no,
I
it's
think we should look
frustrating,
at doing a Patreon and letting people actually like get our true thoughts on a lot of stuff where we're not so self-censored.
Right.
We just have to think about that one. I don't know. Costs money. We ain't got a lot
Yeah.
of it. We're doing this on our own dime, y'all. So
Yeah,
till
yeah,
then,
for sure.
we'll see you next Friday, 8 p.m. Same bat time, same bat channel. Always welcome to shoot us an email. Once we turn this phone number off, you're not welcome to call because it's going to be off. But That being said, hope you have a happy, healthy, productive, awesome week. Cooler weather's coming. Fall is around the corner. Make it up to Exeter Corn Maze if you haven't been up there. That place is pretty freaking awesome. I think they got a couple more rides this year too. We should go. We should take the kids up there and check it out. Mark, do a little video.
Yeah, I haven't been up there.
Yeah,
that'd be cool.
It's a good time, man. It's a really good time.
Yeah.
They got pig races, man.
Oh, do they?
Pig races.
That's
Yeah,
funny.
you can bet on a pig, man. I bet $10 on freaking Piggly Wiggly over here. I was saying you can bet $10 on bacon. See if he works, man. Like me and you, friendly bet. Get the kids out there to call the hogs, man.
There you go, man.
Hope you all have a great, happy weekend. Stay happy, healthy, humble, safe, and we'll see you next week. Till
Take
then,
it easy, everybody. Have a great weekend.
later. Hour and a half.
Yeah, that was good.